Well, hello and welcome to the second episode of Noon with Noonan. I want to welcome all of you back. For those of you who missed the first episode, I recently did another episode where I went over kind of what the Noon with Noonan show is going to be all about. Posted that last week, and what a great response I got from all of you. Just so before I start and jump into today's video and episode, I want to just take a minute and thank each and every one of you who watched that first episode, Noon with Noonan, preparing for 2021, selling on Amazon, personal development, and business is all what this show is about. The response from you guys was amazing. Views are up, comments are up, some other metrics like average view time, it's all up, up, up. So thank you for your guys' support. All right. Well, welcome and hello. Let's jump into today's episode. Today's episode, episode number 2, I'm going to be sharing some really powerful tips on also preparing for Amazon in 2021, but let's just go back and visit kind of the basics, the fundamentals of starting an Amazon business, right? There's so many different things. You may be feeling overwhelmed right now. You know it's a good opportunity, but maybe you're going back and forth like a seesaw, back and forth, or seahorse, whatever it's called, back and forth deciding on, is this real? Should I really start this business? Can I really make money? Why don't I address that question first? So the answer is yes. I have students who have recently launched their very first product. I have products that I've just started and they're selling like crazy. And that's not just because it's Q4, which is the busiest time of the whole year, but it's due to the fact that, e-commerce sales overall, Amazon sales overall, just for this past like Cyber Monday and even before Q4 this year, e-commerce sales are up like 60%, guys. 60% year over year, more people buying right from home. So it's one of the best times in years to actually start an Amazon business, to start selling your own products, to launch an Amazon business and grow a direct-to-consumer brand online. I recommend you first start selling on Amazon. Launch a few products, start building your brand on there because there's already millions of customers ready and waiting to buy your product on there. And then later on, you can open your own website, your own Shopify store, and sell on your own website. It's another great way to just expand your brand out. And I know a lot of people, and I get this question very frequently, about being tied to the Amazon kind of rules and guidelines. So let me talk about that for a minute. So I've actually never had a problem with like Amazon taking down one of my listings, shutting down my account. Most of the people you see maybe in Facebook groups who complain about their account getting shut down, their listing is not making money, they lost all their money, they usually didn't learn something along the way. So they tried to sell a patent or restricted product. They didn't differentiate well enough. They just tried to pick any and every type of widget, any widget or product off Alibaba, put their logo on it, send it into Amazon, and expect to make a lot of money. It just doesn't work like that. You've got to have other strategies like differentiation, improvements, customizations, find a really low competition, high demand product. So that's one of the main things. If you see a lot of people kind of complaining that something like that happened, it's usually because they didn't learn something along the way. And that's exactly one of the main reasons I started selling on Amazon was for time freedom. Is send our products directly into Amazon, let Amazon handle the fulfillment, storage, shipping, packaging, returns, payments, all of that. So yes, it does require some upfront work in the beginning, guys, but once you get your product launched and it starts selling and you've got your PPC campaigns kind of dialed in, it really does become a pretty passive and awesome business model. And you can usually expect to start seeing profits, depending on your product, anywhere from month 2 to month 6, 2 months in to 6 months in. It really just depends on if you reinvest your profits into launching more products or how well your product does from the very start. And also, it's really important that we pay attention to profit margins. All right, guys, let me jump into my notes here. I've got some notes that I want to cover today. I'm going to be sharing some really powerful and good tips as far as starting an Amazon business, or maybe you've already launched a product. So the first one is product research. So don't get impatient during the product research phase. This is the most important step, really, of starting an Amazon business, is choosing the right product. So you have to have a good product. You have to think about how you're going to solve a problem with the product, stand out, differentiate, and try to think, how can I add value to this product? Why should the customer choose my product over all the others? 2 out of 10 launches, if you try to launch a product 2 out of 10 times, if you try to launch the same exact product everyone else, it will work. Whereas if you differentiate, improve, solve a problem with the product, 8 out of 10 of those launches will be successful. So a huge difference there. Number 2, guys, beware of hijackers. A lot of black hat tactics going on Amazon. You may get messages or see reviewer agents or big brands located overseas, could be China, could be here, could be anywhere, offering a free product in exchange for a review. You want to be very, very careful and not use any of those tactics, because you either get the review removed, all your reviews wiped out, or it could even get your account shut down. So try to find an up-and-coming niche and a product and get in there early, right away. Start ranking, start getting reviews, start building your brand. When you can afford to, use the Amazon IP Accelerator program to get brand registry. But make sure you do think of a brand name, get a logo done, check that the brand name is not taken, send that logo to your supplier and have your supplier put the logo right on the product, and we're going to ship the products directly into Amazon with your brand logo on there. Just make sure that you do check to make sure that the brand name is not already taken on trademarkia.com, and brand your products from the very beginning. And then launch the product, and then use the IP program to get brand registry. If you try to do it ahead of time, number 1, you're going to pay more because there's an intent to sell fee if the product's not already on the market selling, and you need your logo on the product. And so this is super important too. Number 3, guys, is suppliers. Continuously review, research, and vet multiple suppliers or manufacturers. If you're in this supplier stage where you're reaching out to and trying to find a supplier, make sure you get all of the pricing details, the customization work, how you're going to improve the product, down to the last penny. We want to get purchase orders from these suppliers. Before we order custom samples, we really, really need to see what the supplier can offer and what their prices are. So that's called a purchase order or an invoice. I always recommend and I always request an invoice before I order custom samples, because I want to know what exactly I can expect to spend on their products. Okay, so super important that you get purchase orders, then narrow it down from 3, 4, 5 suppliers you've been communicating with, narrow it down to 1 or 2, and then order custom samples. On those samples, guys, we want to send the supplier your brand logo, and we want the supplier to make one custom sample. That's one product that has your logo attached to it, either printed, laser etched, heat silk screen print transferred, engraved, whatever it takes. Ask the supplier for a custom sample that has your little brand name or logo on it, because we're going to need to submit that pictures of that to Amazon. When it comes time to make your first listing, we have to submit pictures of that to Amazon, okay, for approval to list new products under that brand name. It's called a brand exemption or error code 5665. If you're in the phase of creating a new listing right now, you can check out this other video I'll link up here on creating a new listing step by step, all right? So I'll link that up above. Next one, ensure your contract or purchase order is complete as possible. It has everything they've agreed to in writing. The more details on the purchase order invoice, the better. The color, the size, the price, the shipping terms, the lead time, the DDP shipping, insert cards, upgrades, payment terms, inspections, all of that you want to have finalized on your invoice or purchase order on a Alibaba trade assurance order. Before you place a 30% or 50% deposit to start production. And I actually recommend you get this purchase order even before you order a sample from that supplier. You can also consolidate samples, guys. Instead of paying supplier number 1 or A, pay this supplier $150 for their custom sample, pay this supplier another $100 for their custom sample. The majority of those sample costs, at least half, is actually shipping to your front door. And so you can use someone I recommend like Michelle Lee. She will receive your 2 samples in China and then ship you it for a one-time fee. So it'd be like 50 and 50 instead of 100 and 150, if that makes sense. And she'll send you the 2 samples directly to your front door for just a one-time shipping fee versus 2. So that's super important. You can use a Michelle Lee. Is super helpful for consolidating samples and sending them to you at once. Saves you $50 to $100 when you go to order samples. Number 4, guys, focus on FBA. Okay, so if FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, that's like I said, we send the products directly into Amazon. We're letting Amazon handle the storage, the fulfillment, the packaging, the returns, the payments. All of that is through FBA. But FBM, fulfillment by merchant, merchant meaning us, the seller, the brand owner, the business. We are fulfilling the orders. It's become a great alternative recently due to the 200 unit limit and the IPI score restrictions at Amazon. Amazon's only letting new sellers and sellers with an IPI score under 450 only send in 200 units. And so using a 3PL and doing FBM has become incredibly popular as a backup option. If you're ordering 500 units of a new product, you send 200 from your supplier to Amazon. But what do you do with the other 300? Usually we don't want to keep those at the supplier's factory and have them hold on to them in China because it'll take months to get here. So using a 3PL warehouse to store your extra 300 units and then ship them into Amazon as you need them, or sell via FBM on the side, third-party fulfillment, also on Walmart, on Etsy, or Amazon, set your same one listing to both FBA and FBM. So if you run out of stock of your FBA inventory, you can just easily switch it over or add FBM to the FBA listing. So you can do both. So setting up a relationship and using a 3PL has become incredibly important with these new restrictions and limits from Amazon. And setting up a 3PL relationship, also the benefit of that is if you do expand to your own Shopify store, you start to sell on Etsy or Walmart as a third-party seller, you can use that 3PL to fulfill all of those orders, okay? All right, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. I had to put this in here in my notes, guys. I always forget to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. And do that, and you'll be automatically entered to win a free 30-minute coaching call with me. That's a Zoom call, 30-minute consulting call. That's a $75 value. I'll choose 1 or 2 lucky winners who like this video, comment down below, and are subscribed to the channel. So it could be you who wins that call with me, and we can work on whatever you need help with. All right, number 5, branding. We talked a little bit about this already, but having your logo and brand name on the product, the packaging, checking the brand name first on trademarkia.com, making sure it's available, it's not already taken for eventually once you do use the IP program to get a trademark is super, super important because this will also help prevent hijackers from your listing because they won't have your product with brand name on it versus if you're just selling a generic product. If your logo's on the product, that gives you some level of protection where we can say, hey, Amazon, look, my product is like this with my logo on it. The hijacker's product doesn't have my logo on it. And we can say something else to Amazon, like they can't offer a warranty like I do. And usually Amazon will take them down. So brand name should be, how do you choose a brand name? Brand name should be specific to your category or niche, but not too specific where you can only launch just that product. So if you're selling kitchen knives, you wouldn't want your brand name to be something knives company unless you're just going to sell knives on Amazon. You can have multiple brands under the same seller account, as many as you want. So 1 seller account, 1 LLC, multiple brand names, as many as you want. So try to choose a brand name that's more specific for the home and kitchen category. So if you were selling knives, instead of just your name, like a brand name knives company, do something more like kitchen designs company. That way you can launch multiple products under that home and kitchen or kitchen and dining niche or category. Number 6, and this is probably one of the most important tips on here, is profit margins. Too often I see new sellers not understanding their profit margins. So let's say your product has a total landed cost of $10. $10 is the total landed cost of the product, logo on product, custom packaging, insert cards, Amazon barcode, DDP shipping, all the way to the Amazon warehouse. Let's say that's $10 landed. And then you pay another $10 in FBA fees for fulfillment, storage, PPC fees, all of that. It's another $10. So now your total cost, $10 for just your product, $10 for all the fees, storage fees, PPC, fulfillment fees, referral fees. That's $20. You need to be able to sell that product no cheaper than $30 on Amazon to make at least $10 pure profit per unit. Does that make sense? That's called the 33% rule. The cost of the product landed $10, FBA fees and PPC fees and storage fees, $10. That's $20. You sell it to the customer on Amazon at $30. That leaves you $10 profit, pure profit, every time you sell one unit. So please make sure that you do your profit margin calculations correct. If your total landed cost was $10, the FBA fees were $10, and you can only sell the product for $20, you're at a break even. Even if you can only sell the product at $25, that's still only $4 or $5 profit per unit. That's a little bit too low for me, and I like around $10 or more, okay? Unless the product is like selling not just 500 to 1,000 units a month, it's more like a 2,000 to 5,000 unit a month product it turns over, then you could go down to like $5 profit per unit or higher. Number 7, use social media. You guys don't need to be an expert in social media strategy or running Facebook ads, but at minimum, you should have a Facebook and Instagram business page for your brand, for your brands, or for your business. It's free to set up an Instagram page and a Facebook business page. It doesn't cost anything. You can just start kind of posting 1 or 2 pieces of information or content related to your product's category or market. You can look in other Facebook groups or Instagram pages that are similar to your product and brand and niche, and then get ideas for what types of pictures, videos, written words you can use on your page. Let's say you set up a Facebook business page or brand page for your brand, and the weeks leading up to launch, while you're waiting for your product to be shipped into Amazon, you start posting 1, 2, or 3 pieces of content per week. Content meaning a picture, a couple sentences about an update or a piece of news or a tip related to your product. Once you do launch the product, you can now organically, you've already reached hundreds of people on Facebook. So when you do launch your product on Amazon, you can do a link on Facebook, and I've seen products make over $500 in sales day one just using that strategy. Posting a couple pieces of content in the weeks leading up to launch, you organically, for free, start to reach hundreds and hundreds of people on Facebook from your brand business page, and then it launches and you make a really good sales day one because people have appreciated reading and visiting your brand page, social media page. And then of course, influencers are super powerful. You can go onto Instagram or YouTube, type in your product or your category, go through the pages and pages of influencers or marketers and people in your space, and you can DM them or direct message, send them a message and ask them if they'd be willing to do a promotion. You can send them a free product, and then they do a post or a swipe up story offer for $100, $200 and a free product. A lot of people, influencers are always willing to collaborate and help you promote your product. Number 8, guys, keywords. Keywords are important for 3 main reasons. Number 1, during product research. Are you looking at the main keyword during product research? Running X-ray on that main keyword to see all of the sellers out there? Usually it's going to be the shortest keyword. So if you were selling, let's say, a office desk pin holder, you wouldn't want to do marble large office desk pin and scissor holder. That's too many words. You just want to do desk organizer, like 2 words, and then run X-ray to see all of the sellers out there. Versus that long tail keyword, you're going to see just a certain limited amount of other sellers and competition. Keywords are also important for ensuring there's enough demand for your product. Do your product's main keywords, the top 2 to 5 main keywords of your product, all have roughly 2,000-3,000 search volume or higher? Use a tool like Cerebro or Magnet to check this. Actually, if you are using Helium 10 product research software, X-ray, you can now just easily click a little button you just check, and then run Cerebro, and boom, you have the top best keywords for your product, the search volume, total other competing products for that keyword, all of that good stuff. Number 3, and the last one keywords are important for, is are there several keywords in the 1,000 to 12,000 search volume range that you can try to go after and rank for month 1? If all of your main keywords for that product all have 50,000 search volume or more, it could mean it's going to be very, very competitive and hard to rank that product. Number 9, reviews and ranking. Ranking and reviews are king. As soon as you launch, you want to try to get as many sales, reviews as you can the very first 2 to 4 weeks after you launch. This is what's called the honeymoon period, and it's super important. This is when we want to prove to Amazon that we have a good product that sells well, and we do that by promoting our product however we can. I've got a whole launch document. If you'd like that, you can just leave a comment down below and I'll send that to you. It goes over all these different methods and ways to launch your product, including search, find, buy promotions, early reviewer program to get reviews, a pricing strategy, coupon codes, using social media pages, influencers, split testing your main image, aggressive PPC campaigns, all together for launch and during the honeymoon period. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys, going over product research, getting started with your Amazon business. I hope you found it valuable, and maybe you learned something new today that you hadn't heard before, which I hope is the case. And again, thank you guys so much for watching episode number 2 of the Noon with Noonan show. I'll be sure to make a really good one for you next week. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome day.